Number 5. If you're looking for an addictive game, look no further than Civilization V. Civilization V is a turn-based strategy game that is full of depth and replayability. It is a game you can literally get lost into for hours on end and still feel satisfied by the end of it. Civilization V allows you to build your civilization from the ground up, starting in prehistoric times and continuing all the way through and into the future. What makes Civilization V so great is that you can literally shape and manage your civilization in any way you see fit. Do you want to focus on military? You can do that. Do you want to focus on science? You can do that too. Watch the rise and possible fall of your civilization as you make tentative allies and enemies in this grand game of conquest and victory.
Number 5. When I sat down to write this list, the first challenge that arose was this. Which game was better? Link to the Past or Ocarina of Time? I finally decided after hours of thought that the game that truly felt like a sequel, the game that took everything that made the original Zelda great and made it better, has to be the winner. Link to the Past. Sure, Ocarina was the first 3D game to be good. Looking at you, Super Mario 64. But Link to the Past established a world of Hyrule and made its puzzles fun. It let you traverse the world that was brand new, just like the original, and gave you such a fun quest to go on. Of all the Zelda games, Link to the Past is the best, and that is why it takes the number 5 spot on this list.
Number 4. Dragon Age Origins is a dark fantasy adventure like none other. You kill dragons, you kill Darkspawn, you kill Darkspawn dragons, all while stopping a civil war brewing back home. What's not to love? The graphics may not be the best and the gameplay may be simple, but it is made up in loads by the epic story that has countless of important choices that actually matter. Looking at you, Mass Effect, and characters you will care about and be invested in. Not to mention the sheer amount of different permutations that you can leave the world in by the end of it. Did you side with the Templars and kill the mages? Who was wielding Orzammar as the credits rolled, and what was their impact on the world of Thedas we have come to love? Did you forgive Loghain at the loss of Alistair? And most importantly, who was alive to see the consequences of your actions by the end of it? These are all the reasons why Dragon Age Origins forces its way onto this list at number 4.
Number 4. Pokemon has had its place in the hearts of millions around the world since we were all children. Pokemon Emerald, I feel, was exactly what Pokemon wanted to be. The 8-bit graphics were perfect, the world was fast and huge, and the amount of Pokemon was expansive without becoming too obnoxious. With the technology advancements of the GBA, Pokemon finally took on the world that was beautiful and could be compared to the world that we live in today. My 12-year-old mind couldn't handle it. Pokemon Emerald was, and still is, my favorite Pokemon game.
Number 3. Sly Cooper is an odd choice for this list, no doubt, but it is an amazing game regardless, the second game being the best in the series by innovating on the formula of the first and taking its great cast of characters and giving them powerful character moments that will leave you in awe and slight depression by the end of it. Sly Cooper is a game that will bring you through various ups and downs on an emotional roller coaster that by the end will hit you right in the gut as you realize what this means for the gang we have grown to love. Furthermore, the various settings and villains of the game are all varied and unique, and really adds to the atmosphere. Not only that, but the gameplay style of Sly Cooper is simply fun and addictive, and in an age where gameplay is getting progressively more complex, the simplistic ways of Sly Cooper are a much needed breath of fresh air, and that is why this band of thieves steals its way on here at number 3.
Number 3. Fire Emblem has been with me for almost as long as I've been a gamer. Of course, many people only really know about it because of the characters who appeared in Smash Bros., but to me, Fire Emblem was something special. With every game taking place on a new continent with new characters and new stories, the one that stuck with me the most was Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, the sequel to Path of Radiance. This game has, by far, the biggest cast of characters in any Fire Emblem game, with 71 playable characters spread out among 3 armies, and by far the most gripping story. Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn will go down as one of the most underrated games in history.
Number 2. Everyone asks this question at least once in their life, at least I like to think they do, and that is, what is the best Pokemon game? And I believe I may just have an answer for you, and that answer very simply is Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Heart Gold is a remake of the original Gold version for the Game Boy Color, and it improves in every way on the framework of the original. It mixes story elements of Crystal with Gold to create an even more compelling game, and the setting of Johto is by far the best region Pokemon has to offer. Johto has very Eastern sensibilities, and it nails its mood and setting, as well as its soundtrack very well. Let's not forget that big reveal at the end with the Kanto region being available in the game to journey through in addition to Johto. Furthermore, Pokemon Heart Gold has the most memorable ending of any Pokemon game to date. As you scale the side of Mount Silver after obtaining a total of 16 badges, you finally make your way to the top of the mountain, only to go face to face with your player character Red from the first game, who doesn't speak a word, and disappears directly after his defeat, leaving his fate up to interpretation. Pokemon Heart Gold is my number 2 for these reasons and quite a few more.
Number 2! When I first picked up Portal as a part of the Orange Box, all I was expecting was a 3D puzzle game with the use of portals. Well, I got that. But what I wasn't expecting was some of the funniest one-liners I've ever heard in a game. Portal was nothing more than a stocking stuffer Valve threw in with a bundle because Half-Life 2 took so long to make. And you know what? It was the best game Valve has ever made. Portal will go down in history as one of the best games ever. And that is why it has taken the number 2 spot on this list.
Number 1. 6 words. Half dungeon crawler, half dating sim. I know it sounds weird to describe a game that way, but Persona masterfully fuses these 2 very different gameplay styles into one cohesive experience that feeds off each other in a symbiotic relationship. Who you choose to grow your bonds with in the simulation portion of the game lets your character fuse stronger personas with the same attribute as that character. This effectively means that character development is a part of the gameplay, which only furthers your interest in learning about the full cast of well-developed and rounded characters that Persona has to offer. Besides that, Persona is just a very special and unique game about interpersonal relationships that just gives you that warm and fuzzy feeling inside even through all the heartbreak and turmoil. And that is why Persona 4 Golden is definitively my favorite game of all time.
Number 1. When I was very young, I walked into a GameStop and described to the clerk what kind of game I was interested in playing. But I was turned away because he couldn't think of anything that matched that description. Years later, I picked up Skyrim on a whim, and my jaw dropped. Skyrim was exactly the game I had been looking for. An RPG with huge immersive world that I spent hundreds of hours happily getting lost in. Factions with long and gripping stories, dragons, sword, magic, giants, trolls. I spent more than 300 hours in the world of Tamriel, and I could easily spend 300 more.